Hey guys, hey coach, thanks for joining us. We'll get started. Just remember, if you have a question, please raise your hand. If you're not talking, make sure to put your microphone on mute. Who would like to have the first question? All right, Mitch, you go ahead.
Wait, Tice, I thought we had a major announcement. Don't we have a major announcement?
You're the one. I think I'm
shattering, groundbreaking announcement. No, we don't. Go ahead, guys. Fire away.
Well, first off, thanks for doing this, Mark.
Yep.
I just wanted to ask, maybe since the end of the season, how far along are you in player exit interviews, and do you have a clear sense of where all your players stand heading into the offseason?
Yeah, we're in a so there's so much ground to cover. So we're tomorrow will be meeting number 2, kind of individual meetings. Again, tomorrow we're kind of doing every Friday. And so I'll go through the whole roster tomorrow, and we'll do it again next week. And so it's just a process as we kind of do the autopsy of the season and talk about goals and structure and process about preparing for next season. So it's actually a super fun time. I actually love it so much to just dig in with these guys and kind of see where we've been and where we are and where we're going. But it's time consuming.
How would you assess maybe the autopsy or how you put it of the season? How do you just sum up what transpired this year?
Yeah, it's interesting. The more I go through it, the more I probably shouldn't say these words, but the more proud I am of what these guys accomplished this year. And even more so their approach and their resilience. That was a word that came up in our first round of meetings with nearly every single guy, just about how these guys were kind of facing big odds, and it was new and young group. It was and the fact that these guys went through some hard stuff and just kept coming back with a view to getting better. And I'm super proud of that. I'm super proud of our guys, and I'm incredibly encouraged and excited about moving forward. We know this is a long jersey. It's a long jersey too. It's a long journey, and I think very few. There's probably very few places and programs that can pull it off to do it like we're trying to do it, and I'm encouraged. I think we're gonna be able to do it. I'm super excited about the process.
All right, Darnell, go ahead.
Yeah, Mark, when you talk to the players, where do you go with praise and success as opposed to this is where we got to get better when you do the autopsy on the season?
Well, we try and keep our focus on the things that we can really, really control and the things that really, really matter. And that is just growth. It's just, you guys are so tired of hearing that from me, but it just is like, that's our life, is just trying to get better. And so it's super interesting is, for example, I mean, we talked about it all year long. Protecting the ball was such a chronic issue for us. We end up 310th in the country in terms of protecting the ball over the course of the season, but over the last 10 games, if we had held that, what we accomplished in the last 10 games, we would have been a top 40 team in the country. And so I think the progress is super exciting for us. And, we talked about it before the season. We knew what we were signed up for this season. We knew about the challenge we were going to face, and that, just that things would be complicated. And so I think that's what we do, is we just keep focus on growth. And that's what we're kind of obsessed with right now. The guys are back in the gym. We're working hard. It's very focused and very deliberate. We're trying to be super, super intentional with everything we do, which is incredibly time consuming. But I think our guys feel it. I think our guys are hungry, and they know that we have like we've talked about, that we're just barely reached the base. We've just barely reached base camp 1 of this climb up Mount Everest, and we're super humbled by where we have to go, and we know this is not a 1 day or 1 month or 1 year process, but we're engaged and can't wait to keep moving forward every day.
Darnell, do you have a follow-up?
Yeah, Mark, the NCAA has approved hiring 2 more coaches for college basketball staffs. Where are you in that process?
So it's interesting. So what they've done is they've said that you can have 2 more guys on the floor and you designate those. So it's a massive, like, I'm so excited about it. It doesn't necessarily require hiring 2 new people. You can actually designate current staff members or people that can be permanent full-time also on the court and also do recruiting from in-house. They just can't go on the road. And so I think it's the right move by the NCAA. It gives us a chance to really get more man hours with our guys individually on the court, which is vitally important. And so we are in the process of I can't really talk about that too much, but we're in the process of trying to address that. But it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out and hire 2 new bodies.
All right, we'll go with Jeff, Kevin, Mitch, and then Jake. Jeff, you're up.
Hey, Coach. How active do you plan to be in the transfer portal, and what are some of the needs that you're looking for as you look in the portal?
Well, we talked about it's funny. We talked about 3 things. So, there's 3 things trajectory wise that have been tough for us over the last 4 years. And one has been our effectiveness shooting the ball. We went from number 4 in the country, and we've kind of our effectiveness has decreased every year to just this year being 289th in the I'm getting that number confused right now in my head, but in the low 200s in the country. And then the second thing we talked about is possessing the ball, which was super, it's been a mission all year long, and that's been a 4-year decline. And the third thing that's been a 4-year decline is our experience, our age. We went from being a top 10 most veteran team our first year. Every year we've declined till this year we were almost 300th in the country in terms of experience. So we talked about how we're renewing a focus on shooting the ball. We're gonna just dig into that incredibly tough. We've already built in teaching techniques for protecting this ball that we're being really deliberate right now with every time we're unsuccessful there. And then the great thing about being a young team is it's kind of like tithing, right? You can be perfect at it. And so the guys made perfect progress from yesterday to today towards getting older. Everybody's a day older. So it's going to be a step by step, but that's a can't fail scenario. And we're super excited about taking care of issue number 3. So we'll be super aggressive in the portal and see if we can augment our daily growth with a couple of veteran bodies.
All right, Jeff, you got a follow-up? If not, it's Kevin's turn.
Yeah, just one more for me. What maybe is the biggest positive that you could take from this past year that you can carry with you going into the next year of the Big 12?
Like I mentioned, we kind of went through our first round of exit kind of 3-part series last week, and unanimously, as I asked, one of the questions I asked the guys to prepare when they came in to see me was, what are you most proud of this season? And it was unanimous. It was universal, 17 guys, and I got 17 answers. Super proud about how resilient we were. And then we, kind of built a standard of like, hey, we know sometimes things go wrong, but we're going to come back and we're going to come compete. Sometimes things go wrong in the first half. We're going to come compete in the second half. And man, if you have that in your organization and you have guys that have felt it and believe it and are convicted by it, it's everything you need for growth, right? And so that's super exciting to me. That is, this resilient piece was important for us this year as we're so young, and it's going to be 100 times more important for us next year as we move into this Big 12 league. And it is going to be, that's going to be the key for us to kind of eventually get to top of this mountain, is just being resilient. I'm incredibly excited that these guys set a terrific foundation for that. they know it, like they know what it means and they know what it feels like. And we didn't know that a year ago because everybody's just brand new.
Going off of Jeff's first question, on the flip side of the transfer portal, do you anticipate there being a lot of attrition this offseason and in terms of retaining guys and not going into the transfer portal?
I don't know. We'll see. I think the guys are pretty focused on moving forward right now, but this transfer portal is super complicated. There's so many different factors that come into play. There are some factors on our side in terms of what BYU is and what it stands for and how you have to live here. And there's some parts in terms of, there's dynamics with NIL for sure. That's not supposed to come into play with this transfer portal, but it clearly is in a really, really deep way. And then there's, everybody's kind of, I think everybody's kind of, it's free agency every year, right? So we'll see how it goes. At the end of the day, the exciting thing for us is, and the great thing about the transfer portal for these young guys is you get a chance to be where you most want to be and where you really believe you should be. And that's probably a positive for these young guys. So we'll see, it's we have this window from now until May 1st where, guys get to take advantage of the one-time transfer. And so, we'll kind of play day by day as we figure this out.
And then just a bigger picture question about the Big 12. I know you kind of mentioned the support staff, but just in terms of resources overall, where do you kind of want your program to grow going to the Big 12? And what are some of the main areas of maybe not concern, but emphasis for you?
Yeah, it's we've talked about it. It's a staggering move. We can kind of grow in every space of this game. So we're considering staff about how we can organize things a little bit better. We're both with our immediate staff and our support staff in all kinds of different areas. We had the squad with us every single day for this entire year. And that was such a gift. It was so incredible to have those eyes and ears and that expertise, in the office, meeting with me once a week on kind of what they're seeing and meeting with our guys and helping not just with performance psychology, but also with just mental health. And so, that's a space where we'd really like to continue to expand. I think it's incredibly important. But we've also been blessed, here with, it's not like we need to rebuild a new Marriott Center or a new annex. We've been blessed with incredible facilities that work well here. For us, it's just the main focus is just elevating our play so we can be competitive in that league.
All right, Mitch, and then Jake.
Mark, you mentioned a few times this season that you're playing the long game with the program right now, and how that can kind of be a scary thing in college athletics. Are Homo and Santiago in alignment with that long game vision you have for the program?
Yeah, I think so. I think Tom has a pretty special view of college basketball overall, having served in the NCAA committee, the selection committee for a 5-year period. And he from that bird's eye view, he's had a really special insight into what the Big 12 is in terms of basketball. I mean, it's half a step away from, the 5th division in the NBA, right? It's really daunting. And so I think we're super humble about our approach to being in this league, and we know that we need to take extraordinary measures to find a way to be competitive at this level night in and night out. And, BYU is probably a place where you're less prepared to consistently have quick fixes, right? I think we can have some part in a quick fix solution, but this is something that we really feel like we have to kind of grow from the ground up in order to get to a space where, you know, we can be on this most elite level. And so I think we're all super excited about it, super excited about the process, super excited about growing, and super excited about seeing what we can become.
And do you believe
The great thing about Tom and Brian, they're not scared of hard work, and they're not scared of building something from the ground up. So they're incredible guys in this athletic department.
And do you believe that the Royal Blue NIL collective will lead to more success in pursuing portal prospects going forward?
Yeah. So, I mean, this, guys, like, this NIL money is real. It just is a real part of this. It is not the end all be all. And you can't just, you know, there are some programs last year that were really successful about buying teams. Right. And so this is a real part of this process. It's probably never going to be, you know, I don't know. I can't say never, but right now, we're not in a probably a position where, you know, that's going to be a complicated thing here at BYU. It's not traditionally the way that, you know, it's a very new concept here. I think it's a concept that donors and fans are appropriately cautious about evaluating. We are not on the cutting edge right now of NIL, and that's okay. That's probably appropriate for BYU. I do think we'll continue to grow there, and I do think it's a massively important part of college athletics right now. But we're going to figure that out the BYU way, and it's, like I said, it's for us. It's not going to probably be at a place where it serves as a quick fix, but hopefully we can find a way where it's an incredibly positive experience for our student athletes, and where it can be more than just a cash handout, that it can be a life-changing growing experience. And that's what we're chasing. And so while that might not harvest immediate results, I think in the long term, it's going to be an incredibly winning approach. It just is not, it's not a quick fix.
Coach, in
All
terms,
right, we'll go Jake, Kevin, and then Darnell. You'll have our last question. Sorry, Jake, go ahead.
you're good. Coach, just philosophically, I was going to ask you about this with regards to the transfer portal. We're seeing reports of 500, 600, 700 guys already in the portal in this most current cycle, and we're only 3 days or 4 days into it. Is there some philosophical change you'd like to see in terms of slowing that down potentially nationwide?
Well, I'm just going to retread on conversations you've already had with everybody, right? I think there is the beautiful side of the transfer portal is that guys get a chance to kind of take another shot at being where they most want to be. And you know, you learn so much about what you care about. It's interesting when you recruit high school players, it's not their fault. They have no idea what they actually care about because they don't even know what a college experience is like. And so you get there and you learn, you know, it's like with fire hose, learning about what you think you care about, and you get to do it firsthand. And so I do like the freedom of student athletes to make choices. I do feel like the transfer portal is complicated. The waiver is complicated, just in the sense of, you know, I'm going to sound super old school here, but when it's so easy to go kind of try you know, to for your answer for difficulties just to go somewhere new. I do think that there's no doubt that that you lose the experience of things going bad and you have to fight through it and actually make it good. And what you lose in that experience is you learn the opportunity to do something you didn't know you could do. you lose the opportunity to be in a situation where everybody around you is doubting you and you're doubting yourself, and all you do is put your head down and you work so hard. You come out the other end, and when you come out the other end and have success, you can't even almost believe it yourself, but it changes you in the process. And so there's a balance. The NCAA right now is saying that they're going to really, really crack down on all the waivers. So, for example, no runoff waiver anymore, which became the universal waiver where you could get a second and third and fourth waiver. We'll see if they hold firm on that. I tend to feel like there's probably some, maybe, it's a complicated situation, but I think there is there's some benefit to these kids too about allowing them the opportunity to have to just fight through it and experience coming out the other side, right? And so, if they hold strong on this one-time waiver, I think that could be a positive thing, but I don't know if they're going to have the legs to legally do it. A lot of times with the NCAA process over the last 5 or 10 years, they've had ideas where they wanted to kind of do what people felt like might be best for a student athlete, but they've kind of lost lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit. So, some things have been taken out of their hands. So not an easy situation. But what we do is we just take it and all make the best of it. And it is incredibly exciting. It's like a free for all. I don't know. We're 503 days in. So, and there's still 100 teams playing right now. And so it's just a fascinating process. Like all change, we just have to learn how to make the best of it and really take advantage of it. And I think everybody in college basketball, players, staffs, universities are all trying to do that the best they can.
And then also, we've already seen reports, including Cahill Fennell as a guy who's been up for other jobs, a head coaching position in particular. How big of a proponent are you for your assistants to get opportunities to advance in their careers, whether it's as an assistant at a bigger program or a head coaching job?
Yeah, I'm super excited for my guys to go get head jobs. I think that's one of my 4 criteria for hiring guys is that they're really hungry to go get an opportunity to run a program. And so every time an opportunity comes up where that's possible, I think it's exciting in our offices. I think it's exciting among our staff. I mean, that's the goal in the coaching circles, to have opportunity. And I have 3 assistants on my staff that are fully capable and fully ready of going to take over their own program, make special things happen. So we're super excited about the possibility of that. That's, I think for me as a head coach, that's one of the markers of being a successful head coach is your guys get a chance to go on and run a program. And so we're anxious for that to happen.
I know.
All right, Kevin, and then Darnell. Then we'll finish off.
I know you kind of talked about how BYU, the approach in NIL is going to be different just by nature of being at BYU. And the long game, maybe it pays off, but at the same time, do you feel like right now, at least, you might be losing some recruiting battles or transfer battles because of NIL?
Yeah, of course. Yes. As this was introduced last summer, there's yes. The short answer is yes, of course. Without getting into specifics, yes. So, but that's okay. There's a lot of filters here at BYU that actually are, in the end of the day, are going to give us a really incredible product. And right now, that's certainly a heavy filter. And so that is, that's a space where we're going to continue to grow and find out how to do it in a way that's in harmony with our university. And we've already seen incredibly special things happen. I'm semi-confident that, for example, Gideon George is one of the first NIL business owners now. He owns and runs a business in Nigeria. Trey Stewart is a little bit different, but it's pretty incredible what he's done. He started his own business, and he was the first, as far as we can report, the first business owner, Trey Stewart, that actually signed NIL deals with athletes. The first student athlete business owner that signed NIL deals for other athletes. And, you know, with the three of our players now that have grown their own foundations, you know, that have 501. So Gideon George helping hands and the Foos Foundation and the Atiki, the AAA Foundation, all are up and running now and doing extraordinary things that have all been pieced together kind of through NIL, where, you know, the storyline of NIL in a lot of places is guys receiving a check. What you're seeing from our guys is they're going to make a massive difference in the world. And so we're beyond proud of that. It might not be the you know, open the door sell, but in the long run, we think it's a winning formula, and it's pretty spectacular. And it's not just, you know, cash in your hand for the day, but it's actually providing life-changing opportunities for our guys and opportunities for them to change literally hundreds and thousands of people's lives that they get to work with. So, you know, we're growing in the area, and we think we're pushing in a little bit different direction, but I think it's going to be really special.
All right, now last question.
Yeah, Mark, you talked this year a lot about your players learning the price of winning, what that means. How close do you think your core group is in reaching that goal, or is that an ongoing sort of always learning process?
Yeah, you guys know that, like, the St. Mary's game was it was really tough for us. And so there's a lot of emotion, but as we've stepped away and kind of gone through this autopsy, I'm so encouraged. You know, I think our guys, we got listen, we have 1 million miles to go, and things are about to get so much harder. But I don't know if I could ask more learning from this young group. You know, they just internalize so much. They experience so much for the first time, and they just kept coming back for more. They kind of felt all the pain and that can be associated with it. They felt the exhilaration. They felt like, you know, I think they believe that, you know, they probably understand how urgent it is walking into every possession of a game right now in order to try and win. And they also understand that regardless of what happens at any point in the game, they still have the power to make things right and come back and fix it. And so the fact that they've been able to put all those experiences like into the hearts, that they can match the words with the experience, I think is incredibly encouraging. Like, I'm telling you guys, I think this is a really special group. I think what they took in from this season is invaluable. And we know that we have a daunting task ahead of us, but I'm super excited to walk into you know, to start that climb with these guys, because they proved a lot this year. Mostly they proved about who they are and what they're about.
Real quick, Mark, how much March Madness are you going to watch?
I'm trying to take it a little bit, but, you know, like, we're so deep into trying to be really intentional with our growth right now. I mean, I got data coming out of my ears right now, guys. And so, you know, I'm probably not going to have a lot of time to watch games. If you saw my desk, if I turn this camera on, you'd be like, wow, this dude is in trouble right now. It's a fiasco of exploration right now, but it's super exciting. And if I had to choose, I'd rather be in March Madness, but second to that, I'm way more excited about growing this group and growing this team than I am about, you know, watching these games, although they're great games for sure.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Coach, for joining us. Thanks everybody for jumping in.
Thanks, guys.
Go.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.